G'day guys, welcome back to another episode. Today is what I plan on doing is getting a bit of paint on this engine, making it look nice and pretty. One thing I did notice though, a true rookie mistake, when I put the valve springs in, I have put some of them in upside down, so we will have to rectify that. We'll also look at cleaning up some of the other parts, or bolt-on parts, and maybe even throw a bit of paint on those, so let's get to it. Guys, so the primer's all been on and dry. Let's look at getting this thing looking pretty. She's had a nice coat of paint, looking really smart. So now we're going to get working on all of the bolt-on pieces, I suppose. Alright guys, you'll have to bear with me today. It's pretty warm here. It's hitting 40 degrees out here today, so it's quite very humid, very hot. So I've cleaned up all of the gearbox, flywheel and some other bits and pieces. So what I'm going to do is take the rockers off and then I'll show you exactly what I made. As you can see, so here's it's number one. Seems okay. 2, looks like the exhaust is incorrect. 3, they seem to be okay. We've got 4 are okay. 5 are upside down. And 6 are upside down. I've just put a air fitting in the end. That'll screw into the cylinder. I will blow compressed air into that. That'll keep the valves up while I remove the collets. All right guys, so is what we're going to do. I'm going to put the compressed air in this valve. Number 1. Basically I've drilled a hole because I don't have anything that I can do it. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. That might do it. Just to try and make it go down straight, because it's going down a little bit on the angle. It might be easier then to get the okay, let's see if we can pick it out just using the screw. All right, got it. Carefully lift it up. There she is right there. Now if we undo this, might actually take this off. So then I can unwind it a bit more. Alright guys, so as you can see the top of these springs are tighter here and it's a little bit more free. They should be sitting that way, like so. Can't believe I missed that, but anyway, it happens. Let's get this back on, wind it down. I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not, but happy it's done the trick. Once again, with it sliding over, get it into position. my little collets go back on, which will also lock and ensure that oil seals in position. Get rid of a bit of hair. Alright guys, that's one done. Make sure that's sitting in nice. Yep. Okay, let's do this one. Get it nice and centered. Make sure nothing's hitting. Go as far as I can, give me enough room. Collets off. One collet. Two collet. Alright, O-rings off. It's actually working quite well. Surprisingly, you do what you got to do when you need to get the job done. Bit of oil. O-ring. Carefully push that in. And as I said in my first video, the spigots actually hold that O-ring, the O-ring's in the correct position. Give it a wiggle as I go. Alright, that is beautiful. Beautiful. There you go. A few to change. I'll do that and I'll bring you back when it's done. As you can see, I've actually put them all in the correct way now. Can't believe I did that, but anyway, it happens. Right guys, I'll put these rockers back on. You don't need to see that because you've already seen that. Adjust them all up and then we'll move forward. Cheers. All right guys, let's look at getting these, the rest of these wash plugs in. I just generally put a little bit of sealant around, so RTV just helps, just a really thin layer. Before I put them in, just get set up. Take this off, don't leave that. Now, I have found with these, they do take a bit of hammering to get them in. So let's give it a crack, eh? Try and get them in as level as possible. All right, once I start, might change this one for now. All right, I've given the original temp sender a bit of a quick clean. Okay, beautiful. All right, we've got the housing to go on. I'm not going to clean off the paint. I don't see it being a big deal. I will touch this up though. All right, gave that bit of a clean. Again, RTV. All right, so with this one, I'm just going to put RTV on this side because I'm going to leave the thermostat out. I'm just going to put the RTV on the one side so that I can later, once I've run it in and whatnot, I can pull this off easy enough, put the thermostat in and then just seal it down properly. A little bit of a coat of grease on it, just because of where it is, just helps. Okay, 20 foot-pounds. All right, let's fit this front seal. Pretty straightforward. I'll put a little bit of grease on it just to help it go in a bit better. A little bit of tube that fits over. You'll hear the difference in change of sound. As it bottoms out. All right guys, so we're getting pretty close now. Just a few bits and pieces need to be put on. All right, while the manifold's drying, a bit of paint, a bit of a touch up, we'll get the alternator on. All right, let's get the manifold on. right, let's get the fan, harmonic balancer, and the fan belt on. All right, guys, now comes the time that we'll get this, get the dizzy in. First of all, I just want to clean this up a little bit where the engine number is. I just like it to look a little bit nice and shiny. So basically, I'll just get a bit of wet and dry. I just like looking, I don't like to paint this. I just like to make it stand out with the engine number. Just looks better as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't take much. Give it a bit of a wipe. All right. Beautiful. Now the dizzy, guys, basically this is what it looks like now. I'm just going to give it a bit of a quick clean up, etc., and get ready to put it in. It's pretty grubby. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. It's just a matter of getting it with a bit of degreaser and just giving it a good scrub inside and out, just pulling off what I can and just yeah, take it from there. I'll be back shortly. All right, guys, after a good probably 30 minutes of cleaning, this is now what I've come up with. So it doesn't take much. Looks a little bit better. Put everything back together on, just unbolted what I could, taken it all apart and put it back on. It doesn't sound too bad actually. So I think we'll be all right. Points of that cleaned up all right. We'll see how they go. They may need to be redone, but anyway. All right, so basically to set it up the way I do it is there's a little tiny notch. I'm not sure if that's going to show, but you can see that little notch there. Okay, that sort of lines up with that screw right there. Now basically, as I've got that sitting right there, okay, so that's basically where it's firing. So basically what I just generally do is slip it into the hole. You do have to line this little, and you'll feel it as it clicks in. It will click in and then turn. Okay, so I'll try and zoom you in and show you how I line it up. All right, so let's have a look. All right, so as I said, let's get those little things out of the way. So basically, this is oiled up, so it should just go in pretty easy. Now, if I was just to slip that in, as you can see, that's not sitting in yet, okay? Because this isn't sitting in with the actual little slot on the oil pump. So if you slide that around, just turn it and you will eventually get to it where it clips in. Okay, now see that's gone all the way down. Okay, now that's locked in. So basically where that's sitting, my little notch is right there. Okay, lining up. Now that's lining up, so to me that's not too bad. Now I could go back a little bit. Okay, that's sitting at about right there. That's lined up about 8 degrees and it's almost smack bang on. It's just a little bit forward, so I might lock it in there. I can always, once I've got it running and see how it's running, I can lift it out, turn that slightly, drop this back in, okay, until it locks in. All right, hopefully you can see that a bit better. My little line is right there, okay, which is basically lining up with that. All right. Now, as you can see, it's down. It's not sitting up, so it's slipped right into the actual oil pump and it's locked in. Okay, so I'm pretty happy that when that piston is all the way up on the rock, that it's going to fire. So I'm going to lock it in there. If I need to turn it one tooth or whatnot to make it to fire just before it hits, say 8 degrees, 10 degrees, I will do that. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy where that's sitting now. Let's lock it in. Now I'll just do these up just snug so I can still move it. Now if you do undo this screw, instead of turning it a tooth, you can undo that and you've got a lot more play in that, okay? But right now it's pretty well lined up where it needs to be. I'm going to lock it in. Okay, so that's that little screw on the bottom. If you can get that out of the way. That's a little screw on the bottom which makes it move, as well as locking it down with the bolt. Don't have a huge amount of movement, but that's where that is. Just lock that in. It's good to go. All right, next. All right, guys, let's get the fuel pump installed. So I'll show you what it's like, then I'll give this a bit of a clean. So this is the crusty fuel pump. I've had it soaking for a little bit in some diesel for a little while. As you can see, it's running out there. It's just trying to help free it up. I'm not sure if it's any good or not, but I'm going to strip this down and just really give it a detail, clean it all, give it a good old degrease, and I'm not really going to pull it apart. I'm just going to see how it goes. If it then needs to be done, I will then pull it apart, but let's see how we go. I'll bring you back when it's done. All right, guys, so after a bit of a clean, it's not come out too bad. Hopefully it works, but we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. So let's get this thing in. All right, they both start. Now where you go on this, because it's obviously hitting onto the cam, the little lobe, just do it evenly as much as you can. Okay, until this one starts pulling in, like that. Then just do the next side. Give it a bit of a jiggle around. Just help the lobe seat. Now I did put a bit of lube, some assembly lube on the camshaft that off camera, so just so you know. Now we'll just tension these up slightly. I'll get a torque wrench put. Alright guys, so here's the lines. I made these up previously for another motor, and now they're going to be put to good use. These are not the easiest things to make up. You do need the special flaring tool to do them, okay, which I've bought. That's the easy bit. The hard bit is getting them bent exactly to how you want them. So let's get these on and we'll take it from there. Gotta remember how they go now. So just do them all by finger tight, because these are pretty, they can strip very easy going into the brass connections. So just be very gentle. Okay, let's get these. Not sure if I like how that's sitting, but the other ones can be. So you're not putting pressure on the brass fitting. It's actually not bad. Okay, they're all done. All right, let's prep this ready for the oil filter housing setup, which goes over here. So we will be fitting this. Now these are extremely hard. These are extremely hard to find. So if you've got some, be very careful with them and look after them. So they're pretty simple setup. So normally is what would happen. This would just go straight in. Your sender unit will go straight into this area here, okay? And then you just have your cable going back into the car. But this unit here, carefully thread in. Okay. Very carefully install. Don't have to overdo it. Okay, that's it. Just make sure it's pretty level. Might go up a little bit. Nice and level. Tiny bit down. All right. Now being brass, it's sort of, and the thread on it, how it goes in, they self-seal. This one here is for the front. That just threads into this unit here. Normally there's one of these little plugs in there if it's not fitted with one. So this is just a 1/2 inch. Just same thing again, very gentle with these. All right, so we can put our oil sender unit on. I'll just give that bit of a clean up. Pretty straightforward, just screws into here. Same thing again, don't overdo it. All right, we'll put the vacuum line on. This is actually for the wipers. So that just sits up the back here, which you'll see. So we've got to feed that through. All right, here we go. And that just gets plugged into here. All right, let's just get this on. I like to try and feed these lines in first because they can be a little bit tricky. Trying to feed them on once you're, okay, that's in. Same thing again, these brass fittings are extremely delicate, so just be mindful. Make sure nothing's binding. Guys, so I've got the most of the bits and pieces on. As you can see, it's starting to look really good. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Got a fair bit done today, which was really good. I'm happy with how far we've come. We're almost at the stage where it's going to be ready to start. So hopefully that happens in the next video. But thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.